And in the arena is Damian Pongpanik from the USA, taking on the UK's Tom Cousins. Very, very, very excited for this matchup, as I know plenty of you watching will be. Pongpanik with the opening break, and it's going to bring Top Cat Tom Cousins to the table. TC, as his friends know him, and I am very, very interested to see how this works out. Tom's first trip stateside, and a man who has made his name in the last 2 or 3 years as the best in the world at English 8-ball, won multiple events, by far and away the #1 player on the Ultimate Pool UK rankings. He's a 2-time world champion as well from around about a decade ago.
And I gotta ask, Top Cat, where obviously he's the top cat. Is that where that comes from?
I don't think so. I think it's just the TC. I think that's how it sort of worked. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Tom Cousins, TC, Top Cat. I think that was the link there. But yeah, he's been a serial winner in a game that usually doesn't really allow for serial winners.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him over in the U.S. There's several names that have come over, obviously, and had success. Jordan Shepard, Shane Thompson. But it's always fun to see somebody that I've never seen before. It's always a blast to find somebody new to watch, so I'm pretty excited to watch him go. And I'm actually really excited to see Damian as well. Damian Pongpanik is a very good player in his own right. He has been in arena settings like this before. Maybe not recently, but before. So the dry break, I'm sure he'll have an opportunity to bounce back from that. But Tom here looks pretty comfortable on the tables.
Yeah, he's had a couple of days to get ship shape. He was in the flyer that you were mentioning at the top of the show. 9-ball that was, though, which very much isn't Tom's game. Still went well in it, but he's a master of 8-ball.
It's definitely a different game, and we talked a little bit about our next match after this one. Of course, we have this one to get through, but Tyrell Blowers and Chris Melling, going to be a fun one. Tyrell, of course, won our flyer. That's for anybody who doesn't know, that's going to be our mini tournament that we have. So Tyrell already tasting a little bit of success here in Colorado, and I'm sure he wants to continue that success, and he'll have an opportunity against Chris Melling on our next match. But right now, the #1 UK 8-ball player, Tom Cousins, looking to do some damage here against the Seattle-based Damian Pongpanik.
Well, Tom has worked very, very hard at creating that exact shot. And it's actually been, as someone who has spent hours of his life watching Tom Cousins play 8-ball, it's been a very un-Tom Cousins visit to the table, this. His calling card is dealing with his work early. He does it almost to a fault. He'll really throw shots out there early on in the visit to try and get his work done. Leaving a developing shot on the 8-ball till last is almost unheard of, really. And in the end, he just sort of ran out of time and options to get that one away, and it's going to bring Damian Pongpanik to the table in a dream scenario for him, really. Completely open table, just the 8-ball to go. A training routine, really, for Damian.
Yeah, and something that's unique to this shootout format is just that shot clock and the way it works. It's unique to Ultimate Pool USA. And obviously, with a little bit more time, maybe Tom could have come out with something a little bit better, maybe something safer, maybe even making the 8-ball somewhere, but he just ran out of time. So Damian has an opportunity, and he's kind of ended up in a bad spot real early.
You can see there the shirt that Damian's wearing, paying tribute to Mark Haddad, one of the best players in Colorado. He's one of the best players on the West Coast for the last 2 decades. A one-pocket legend who really tragically died in a car accident recently. He was a real mentor figure for Damian, who wanted to pay tribute in his own way at this event. And a really classy touch from Damian to sort of pay his respects in that way.
Yeah, and I'd never met Mark. They called him the Deacon, but I'd heard all kinds of stories, unfortunately, when he passed away. And the stories that I heard really made me wish that I could have met him once, because he seems like just one of those very genuine people. And Damian's a role model for me personally. I just as a person, Damian's a really good person. He's helped me with a little bit of weight loss journey for me, so he's given me some good words. So I really appreciate what Damian's done for me. And obviously, if Mark had a big impact on him, then he must have been a very, very good person. So I love the tribute there. And Damian's looking to win this for Mr. Mark Haddad. And he's going to get a good start here. If he can make this 11 and keep shape on the 8-ball, goes up 1-0 against Tom. Now, this is a very different rack than what we saw in the first match. I think at 20 minutes in, or 10 minutes in, excuse me, 20 minutes on the clock, we were on our 3rd or 4th game, maybe.
Yeah, and that's because Tom really took his time on the finish, used most of the shot clock on every single attempt, and even in the counter clearance, Damian just needed to cross the T's and dot the I's. But first glimpse of the Tom Cousins break. It is notorious in English 8-ball, one of the biggest breakers in the world, and no surprise that with a slightly heavier cue and slightly bigger balls, he can get even more power through that pack. And you're not going to see him cut breaking anytime soon, as long as that front ball break works for him. And plenty of our UK listeners who might be interested to know, because it is only early evening across the pond right now. I'm sure some watching, Tom Cousins fans, friends, family, all the rest of it. You might want to know the equipment that Thomas is using. He's managed to borrow himself a cue from his old buddy Chris Melling. It's Chris's spare. It's a Q-Tech, and that's what Tom's using for this event.
It's actually the brand new X line that came out. He's shooting pretty well with it.
I mean, he could shoot pretty well with a broom handle, to be honest with you, but yeah, it's been a bit more like it from Tom Cousins.
Yeah, he looks a little more. The first rack is always tough for anybody.
And I think it was a tough first rack as well.
Yeah.
It was a funky layout. There was a problem that was really difficult to solve.
You know, that's not the best spot, but he can see it, so he should be good. Now, a lot of these guys that travel over, they don't have cues that are intended for the balls that we have. So the balls over there are much smaller. So you can have a
just going to go?
tip. Oh, no.
Oh, just stays on the table.
Oh. He better take a breath after that one.
Yeah, he's okay. He's danced a bit with the devil there as Tom Cousins in that rack, but he gets his first rack on the boards in the USA.
Actually, unfortunate that Joey Gray had to withdraw from the shootout, because Damian and Joey kind of grew up playing together when they were much younger. So it would have been cool to see them back together, having the conversations. And unfortunately, Joey, not able to make it, was replaced by Gabe Owen, who will play Jovan Bustamante a little bit later today. And if you've never seen Jovan Bustamante, and I know you haven't, you're in for a treat, because this young man plays very, very well. He's from the Philippines, and he loves to play some 8-ball.
Well, you can't ask for much more than that.
Yeah.
So TC once again at the table. He's looking at these stripes.
He's very much a touch player, as far as I can tell. He's just able to touch the balls, and he doesn't have to do anything crazy with the cue ball.
I think we do see that a little bit, especially with the guys who are so used to, you know, English 8-ball coming over, because the balls there are so much smaller and lighter. You really just have to poke them around the table. Like no power really is required. You can float around. Tables like an ice rink.
Whereas here they carry a little bit of weight with them.
Yeah, but they've still got that ability to play those floaty, touchy shots, because that's almost what comes natural.
Yeah. Well, this is not the best opportunity for him here, because he kind of ended up at an angle. He's going to be okay.
Yeah, I think that was always the plan, you know.
Was it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's absolutely perfect here. I think he'll have earmarked that 11 as being his last ball. He's got the options as to what he wants to do with it.
Just a little tap on the 2 ball as he comes by after he makes the 11. He's going to have the 8 in the side pocket, taking down rack number 3.
Yeah, and into his strides, Tom Cousins, who, after a bit of an iffy first rack, with the way that the game is now, the way that the world is now, you don't really get to do that anymore. If you're going to be one of the best players in the world, you have to sort of take everything else that comes with it.
Well, and look at this break. Huge break. All the stripes on one side, all the solids on the other. The 8-ball sitting close to the pocket.
Pretty amazing that this is dry, but one thing I will say is he slightly mishit that break, Tom. Almost scratched in the side pocket, which is absolutely not what he's trying to do.
What do you take here? Because the stripes are harder to shoot, but they're all in the same spot. He's going to take the solids.
I think you have to take solids. Let's get a little bit of nip into this.
He
played the natural instead. I like that.
There we go.
Yeah, it's really well judged. Knew he was going full into the strike ball that he played, and that's come out really nice actually for Damian. Because the 2 at the top of the table are the awkward balls. Now he's into the visit. This is pretty routine actually. The first couple of shots are always going to be the tricky ones.
Yeah, and we are going down on time again. All these matches on a 30-minute match timer, races to 6. So it's a possible 11 games in just a 30-minute time frame.
Yeah, and we saw that in the first match.
Coming down to the last 10 seconds, I think we were almost in.
Yeah, we got all the frames
done,
done though.
Single digits.
We were, yeah, we were. Into the final 10 seconds we went. He's okay. He's not where he wanted to be, but he's okay.
Yeah, the best players are they're going to adapt with how they go. You see players my level, if I miss my shape, I'm going to get a little annoyed. I might throw my hands up. I think Damian specifically is one of those that he says, okay, I just have to adapt.
He's going to have to adapt
here.
Yeah, that's not gone well for him. He's got a big shot to play now. Maybe going to try and sneak this in off the 8-ball. Oh, we could slide by. Wow. Oh, that's just knowledge of the tables and the conditions. Didn't look on.
He knows the cloth is slick, and he knows he can get a little bit of help from that rail. That's a great shot, and it's going to be a great out to tie this up 2-2 right around the 16-minute mark when Damian makes this 8-ball.
Yeah, the match clock does stop.
He's enjoyed his time here in the U.S. so far. We had a little bit of an off day yesterday. We went out to eat and hung out last night, and he's really enjoying it. That's a there it is.
We've had a golden break. Damian Pongpanik doesn't quite know how to react, because all of a sudden 16 minutes left and we've got one less frame to play almost instantly. Just really changed the dynamic. That's a big break from TC. He'd have been pretty unlucky to have that cue ball scratched in the side pocket there. It stayed up. A little bit of work to do here, though. As much power as was in that break, it's not really come out that nicely for him.
Yeah, this is a nasty setup here. It's not going to be an easy out, and I feel like this is going to be a rack where we see that time run down quite a bit.
There's an option on stripes, because the two below the cue ball, they are a plant, I believe. You can combo them in the side pocket, but the 10 ball is horrible on stripes. So yeah, what do you do here on solids?
That the 10 ball, and then also I think the 14, I'm not sure that it has a pocket past the 15. So
that's what he's going to do about the solids. 5 is now free. Wonder if he is planning to combo the two solids in the middle of the table. Don't think they're quite set, but it's not exactly the hardest shot in the world.
And I think it promotes hitting it with a little bit of pace and sending that 7 ball down the table towards the pocket.
He could take them independent of the other, of course, because the 7 goes to the bottom corner and then it opens up access for the 1.
I think that's what he's played here. This is just a little touchy because he's slightly off angle and he doesn't want to bump into that 1 ball. I think he wants to play for the combo so he can guarantee the angle or just try and get a better one.
Yeah, I think he's going to play the 7 now. I think that's the right call. Because now he's not going anywhere near that 1, doesn't need to disturb it. Loads of open space to land into.
Just needs to make the ball. A little bit of a sweater there, used all of the pocket. And really, what looked like a relatively crazy outcome on the break wasn't that difficult for Tom here. He's going to make it 3-3.
Well, that's what he does. He has made a career out of those kind of finishes. He's just relentless.
And Damian here would love to have another successful golden break. Not this time. It's going to be a scratch on the break. Top Cat Tom Cousins is going to take ball in hand behind the line. It's in the kitchen. However, he can shoot any direction. So standard rules that you might have learned when you were growing up is that you could shoot out of the kitchen, but you have to contact a ball that isn't in the kitchen. It's not like that here. He could shoot backwards if he wanted to. He's not going to, though. He's going to take the stripes, and I think the out is very, very feasible here.
Yeah, the break's just not really been Damian's friend in this match, and that feels crazy to say about a guy who's had a golden break. But other than that, it's not really going too well for him. I'm sure he'd trade in that 1 golden break for just 4 rudimentary, make a ball, have a chance sort of breaks.
Yeah, and this is a good show.
Oh, wow. Now then.
There's the first bobble we've seen, and it didn't take very long to see it. You put a little bit of power in those, and you don't hit the forgiving side of the point, it's going to bobble.
Tom Cousins can't quite believe he's missed that. Must admit, I'm with him. Well, it's catching.
Yeah, and I think the time got to Damian there. Of course, the beeps, they're audible, so the players know where the shot clock is. However, they can be a little heart-stopping. You hear those beeps, you get nervous, you rush, you make mistakes.
It was really interesting, actually, to hear Ricky Evans speak after his match with Shane Thompson. He said when he was at the table, he actually felt okay, didn't feel too nervous, just sort of controlled his breathing, just got through his work. but he said when he was in the chair, not at the table, felt like he was in a straitjacket. And I thought that was such a good way to put it. And it just shows that what we were talking about right at the start of the show, about the sort of pressure that these players are under in this format, it's no joke. Well, they'll tell us themselves.
A nice little bump there by Tom, and Tom's going to take full advantage of the receipt back on the missed ball.
Yeah, it's a good sign for Tom Cousins, is judging that shot really well, because those are the shots that are just different, coming from the English game to the American game. The lighter cue ball in England means you've got to just have knowledge of how those lines and angles work. So sort of muscle memory will be those lines and angles rather than your naturals for the cue ball that's the same size, and that's a good sign that he got a shot like that absolutely perfect.
I'm struggling here because I don't know where the 8 balls got room to go. I don't know if it goes past the 6 ball.
Well, I wonder if he can maybe just draw back here.
Yeah, I think he's got a little bit of angle, maybe the wrong angle. So I'm not sure. Tom has, okay. So he's just going to draw back. He's going to take the tougher shot. That was a good shot. He was able to kind of manipulate the cue ball there. Definitely not his preferred shot. But he's going to come out good.
Yeah, those are the shots that Tom just won't shy away from. Very, very good long potter. You've not got much thinking time to think of a plan B. When it's plan A, everything's good.
Yeah, and 15 seconds to think of a plan B is not enough.
It's not a long time at all.
But
great break from Tom there. Good chance.
Yeah, and he's got a chance to. This is a huge swing of a game here to take a 2-game lead versus, you know, being tied up again.
All that just sliding through the gap there has helped him. And he should be fairly routine from here.
I love watching the way Tom cues up to the ball, because the thing that jumps out to me is just the simplicity of how he shoots the balls. He's not had to do anything crazy, so he's not going to. And the old saying that my dad used to tell me when I was learning to play pool is keep it simple, stupid. KISS. So keep it simple. Don't make any crazy rash decisions, and everything should be fine. And that's what's going to happen here. Tom keeping it simple.
It's what he does so well. He makes the game look so easy. Often have said about Tom Cousins, he's so unflustered at all times. It almost looks like he's playing in his living room in his slippers, just strolling around. Doesn't look like he's in a tournament at all. It looks like he's at home. He's comfortable, putting his feet up.
And it's a different style. It's kind of like we've talked about in the past with Chris Melling, with how quickly he almost runs around the table and just absolutely dismantles people. It's a very scary thing to be in the other chair.
Yeah.
Because you're just thinking, wow, this guy is moving so quick and he's not making mistakes.
Yeah, in a different way, they both make the game look so easy and simple. Damian has made himself a ball off the break. Better late than never. Tom Cousins is on the hill, so Damian needs this.
And not only does he need it, but he needs it and then needs something else after it.
Yeah, he needs to go pretty quick as well. 7 minutes, there's time, but can't afford any more mistakes, that's for sure.
Not only that, but he also doesn't want to get into a bind on this rack, because that may draw it out and take time off the clock. Worst thing in the world is to have to get into a safety battle with only a few minutes left in the match and being down 2 games.
Yeah, he's gone up and down this left side rail a couple of times now, but everything has been taken care of. Just
gonna have some angle here, and the slickness of this cloth, it's not going to be his preferred shot, but I think he's got to drag over to the right side of the table with the cue ball, a little bit of bottom, and try and hook back around just like that.
Oh,
this is dangerous.
Yeah, he tried to hit a gap that was really, really difficult to find. I'll try and recover the situation here. Oh, hello. This be some shot.
Yeah, he was trying to get the little bit of swerve on the ball, a little bit of a masse, if you will. Unfortunately for him, the clock beeping in his ear is definitely gonna be something that caused an issue for him there. He knew he was under the gun, and TC now looking to end this and take his very first win of probably quite a few for Ultimate Pool USA.
Yeah, and you can see there just the way that Tom handles himself on the shot clock. Wasn't ever panicked or rushed. He'll hold his extension in his back pocket if he needs it, but he's comfortable hearing those beeps. It's almost a bit of a safety net for him, because he knows then he's in control of the clock. He knows what's happening. And with 4 pretty simple balls left, this match should be over.
And with so much action to come, it's hard to pick a favorite match. This was one of the ones that I was very interested in seeing how it goes. Of course, we've got several more matches coming up, 6 in total left in the first round. Our next match, after Tom Cousins takes down this one, it's going to be a 6-3 win. We're going to have Chris Melling and Tyrell Blowers, but TC is our winner for this one. Wow, really played strong in his first opening match of Ultimate Pool USA.
Tom Cousins' Ultimate Pool USA debut is a victorious one. This is what he does.